Yo, how you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NBA morning shoot around for Wednesday, December 11th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for our DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So we got a solid 11-game slate today. There's a couple good games to watch. It should be a pretty fun slate. You got Kawhi Leonard going back to Toronto where he won the championship for them last year. That's going to be a good game. Really looking forward to that game. A couple other good games on the slate as well. So yeah, man, I'm ready to jump in this video real quick before we do, if you guys don't mind. Please take that quick second, click the like button down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that from you guys. And yeah, let's go. So we'll start at point guard. We'll work our way through the positions. We're going to do this how we usually do it. You know, we're going to pick the top 5 or 6 guys that I think are in play at each position to kind of help you start building your player pool for today. Just a friendly reminder, it's something you can easily do on our optimizer. You go through each position, you just lock in the guys that you want, etc. You can run the optimizer with just your player pool. So definitely, it's a really, really good tool. We got a bunch of other good tools, our matchup tool, starting lineups page, etc. So make sure to check out the site, man, dfscheatsheet.com. And let's go. So we'll start at point guard. We got Russell Westbrook, 10.4, still coming in fairly cheap. I think we got him projected a little bit higher than he should be at 61.6 fantasy points. I'm thinking he's going to get you right around probably about 55, but still 55 on this price tag is still value. Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, we didn't know how it was going to be going into the season if they were going to be able to work. And sure enough, man, the Rockets are playing very well. Westbrook definitely has taken a little bit of a back seat compared to previous years, knowing it's James Harden's team, but he's still doing his thing. Triple-double upside any night. So we'll start with Russell Westbrook. He's the guy, if you want to pay up and you're looking for a really good floor for cash game, you can really consider Russell Westbrook today. Moving down, I'm going to look at Trae Young going against a young Chicago team. This game should be a very fast-paced, up-and-down game. Trae Young playing very well. He's came into this leader of this Atlanta team, second year in the league, playing very well, looking like a young Steph Curry. Trae Young, 9,600. I think that he definitely gives you a pretty good floor as well. The usage rate is just through the roof. And I think that Trae Young is in a good spot here against Chicago, a young team. Moving down, a couple guys I like. I like Kyle Lowry. Van Fleet is out right now. Kyle Lowry's playing a couple extra minutes, and he already is, the leader of this team. Him and Siakam, the best 2 players. It's a very competitive game. They're going to want to get this game against Kawhi Leonard, kind of prove to him he shouldn't have left at Toronto as well. So they're home. They got their crowd behind them. Kyle Lowry, I think he's going to come out, ball out tonight. It is a little bit of a tough matchup against Patrick Beverley, but Kyle Lowry, man, 8,000. You need 40 for value. I think that he can get you there. I just don't know if the upside's there for tournaments, but I think he does give you a pretty decent floor. Spencer Dinwiddie, same price, 8,000, going against a Charlotte team. Charlotte's a team that they actually are playing pretty fast. He's going to be going head-to-head with Terry Rozier and a little bit of Graham as well. I think that Dinwiddie, while Kyrie's been out, while LeVert's been out, he's really been flourishing in this starting role. And, I think you could go to that well at 8,000. I think he is in play. More of a GPP play. I think that you would consider Kyle Lowry a little bit more of a cash game play at the same price tag. Nonetheless, though, I think both of them are pretty good prices. Last guy I'll quickly throw out there. Actually, there's 2 more guys I want to throw out there. I got a value guy and I got a mid-tier guy. Mid-tier guy, Thomas Satoransky. I talked about liking Trae Young against a young Atlanta team. I like Trae Young against a young Chicago team. At the same time, Atlanta's a really young team as well. They play fast-paced, run up and down the court. Thomas Satoransky's a guy who has triple-double upside. He does do a little bit of everything, fill up the stat sheet at 6,000. He's a guy that you definitely could really look at today in this up-tempo game. It should be a pretty fast-paced up-tempo game back and forth. Lastly, a guy in the value tier. I like George Hill, 3,600. Yes, he is coming off the bench now. I understand, when they're trying to get more healthy, but George Hill's still getting 20 plus minutes a game. 3,600. He's a guy that he does a little bit of everything. He can knock down some shots. We got him projected at almost 20 fantasy points, which is almost 6x, and I think that you can definitely continue to look at him in the value tier at only 3,600. Like I said, he's getting enough minutes to pay off the value on this price tag. So I think he is a good value play. One thing that I am looking at earlier in the day is it is tough to find some value right now. There's no clear-cut value. We got to wait on some injury news. So I'm trying my best to kind of wiggle my way through it and get you some value early in the day. Moving on to shooting guard, we got James Harden. We talked about Westbrook. You got to look at Harden as well. 12.2. I mean, the price tag is up there. Going against Cleveland, this game definitely could get ugly quickly. That's what kind of scares me a little bit. But James Harden is going to give you the solid floor that you're looking for. It definitely has the upside. We got to project it at almost 70 fantasy points. If this game stays close, Harden could get there. It's just all about if it can stay close. That's the thing that's kind of worrying me. But I think he really is in play. Donovan Mitchell, we looked at Utah last year. Whenever the point guards were hurt for them, they would always look at guys like Donovan Mitchell, guys like Ingles, guy like Royce O'Neal. These guys, they all get bumps when the point guard's out. Right now we know Mike Conley's out. Donovan Mitchell has been handling the ball a little bit more. 8,100, we got to project it for 44 fantasy points, which is 5.5 value. It's a great value on this price tag. I think he's a really good play against a young Minnesota team. Then we'll go to Drew Holiday. I like Drew Holiday a lot here. I'm going against Milwaukee. This game should be very, very competitive. 7.9. The price tag is fair for Drew Holiday. I mean, Drew Holiday does a little bit of everything. He also gets you a couple of defensive steals or blocks a game. I don't like counting on defensive stats, but Drew Holiday is just a defensive monster, and he usually gets you a couple plus everything else he does. Averages close to 20 points a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. So Drew Holiday in a very competitive game against Milwaukee. I like him. I think he's a really good play. One more guy. Actually, no. I'll stick right here. I like Lou Williams. 6,000. The price tag is down right now. Lou Will, yes, he comes off the bench, but he still plays 30 plus minutes a game. Gets starter minutes off the bench. 6,000 is a pretty cheap price tag for him. We got him projected at 39 in a very competitive game against Toronto. If he even gets us 35, that's a 6x. On this price tag. I just think he's coming in too cheap right now. He's a guy you can plug in, feel very, very comfortable. All you need is 30 for value. I think he's easily going to get you close to 30 on today's slate. Then we'll look at a guy like Chris Middleton against New Orleans. I think this game is going to be a pretty competitive, up-tempo game, going back and forth. Chris Middleton was hurt a little bit. He's starting to work his way back in that starting lineup. At the end of the day, he still is the second best player on Milwaukee, and they're going to look to get him back in the rhythm of things. 6,800 is a pretty cheap price tag for him. We got him projected at 30 fantasy points. I think he can easily get you 35 fantasy points, get you that 5x that we're looking for on this price tag. Chris Middleton coming in as a really good play. Lastly, a guy that I think is a little too cheap also, Bojan Bogdanovic. We got him a game-time decision, but Fox is still out. Bogey's been the guy they've been looking to handle the ball a little bit more, distribute, etc. The price tag is way down. He is a game-time decision, so we got to wait and see what happens with this. But if he does play against OKC, I think he's in a great spot at only 4,500. This is just too cheap for him. Very, very cheap, and I like him. I think he's a really good play. Just wait on the injury news. Make sure that he actually is going to play today. Moving on to small forward, Antetokounmpo going against New Orleans. I like this game. I like Antetokounmpo. I think this is a good spot for him. 12,000. It's like, do I want to play for Harden? Do I want to pay for Antetokounmpo? Me personally, I think I'm going to go with Antetokounmpo. I think it'll just be a little bit more of a competitive game. Milwaukee against New Orleans compared to the Rockets. I think they could just blow out Cleveland, and that's what scared me a little bit. Antetokounmpo, triple-double upside. We know what he's doing. He's making a run for a second MVP in a row. He's playing very well. Milwaukee's on a 15-game win streak or something crazy like that. So yeah, man, Antetokounmpo, 12,000. If you're gonna pay up, I think he's the guy you really look at. LeBron James, 10.9, going against Orlando. The price tag is down a little bit. I think it's a fair price tag for him. The only thing about the Lakers that's really been kind of getting me this year is LeBron, AD together. They both get theirs, but they're not dependent on one more than the other. So it's like sometimes they'll kind of have duds or they'll get up quick and they'll take the rest of the game off. And I think this is a game that the Lakers could absolutely just, smash Magic to kind of cruise the second half. But nonetheless, I like LeBron. I think he's a little bit more of a GPP play, though. Then we'll go down. Siakam, I talked about this Clippers and Toronto game. I like this game. It should be very competitive. Siakam's price tag is down right now. We got him at 8,700. The minutes are still there. Everything's still there. He just kind of last couple of games has been haven't got the secondary stats that we're used to him getting. But man, I still like him. The guy has 60 fantasy point upside at a 8,700 price tag. I just think it's too cheap. In this game, it's like I said, it's going to be very competitive. Toronto's really going to want to win this game. And Siakam, if they're going to do anything, Siakam's going to be kind of right in the middle of it. Moving down to a little bit more value plays, Daniel House. He's been in that start lineup for Houston, 4,800. I think he's a guy that we can look at. We got him projected right at 5X is what you need for cash games. And I definitely think he gives you a little, maybe 6X upside, not crazy upside, but 6X is fair. I think that he can get that. And maybe he'll get a couple extra minutes. If it turns into a blowout, I know Harden and Westbrook will probably be the first guys out. This guy, he was hurt. They're trying to work him back in. So maybe he'll get a little extra burn going against second unit players. So I think that Daniel House is a pretty good guy, kind of in the lower tier that we can look at. Also, Kendrick Williams, 4,000. The guy, when he gets minutes, he can produce quickly in bunches. Played him a lot already this year. He got hurt a little bit. He's working his way back. 4,000. All you need is 20 for value. He can easily get you 25. He's one of the first guys off of the bench for New Orleans. He's another good value guy I think that we can look at today. Going to power forward, Anthony Davis, game time decision. Surprise, surprise. He's been a game time decision basically every game this year. I expect him to play fully going against Orlando. This is a pretty good spot that he can flourish. The problem is 11.8. The price tag is tough. Do you want to pay for him? Do you want to pay for Antetokounmpo? Right there at about the same price. But Orlando doesn't have a guy that could guard Anthony Davis, and he could definitely have a field day if he does play his minutes here. So don't get me wrong. I think he is a good play nonetheless. Kawhi Leonard, 9.6, going against Toronto. In Toronto, he's gonna get booed. He's gonna want to win this game. Showing them, yes, you guys can't do it without me. It's the whole narrative factor. Kawhi Leonard, he's a great play today. I like him a lot. Domantas Sabonis, we talked about it last year. Whenever he started, we always played him. This year, he got that starting job, and he's ran with it, playing very, very well. Double upside every single night. 9,000, need 45 for value. We got him projected at 40. Obviously we want 45 for him to get that 5X. He does have the upside going against Boston, especially if they're going to put a guy like Jason Tatum on him, who's been running the power forward spot. He can definitely dominate Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is not going to be able to guard Sabonis. He's definitely too big for him. So I like the spot here for Sabonis. Moving down a little bit. Couple guys. I like PJ Washington for Charlotte. I like a couple Charlotte guys going against Brooklyn. Brooklyn's a team that, they try to outscore people, very up-tempo team. Charlotte's going to have to run and gun a little bit. And PJ Washington, he's been getting the opportunity. He's been playing very, very well. I think that we can go back to that well at only 6,000. You need 30. You need 30 for value, and I definitely think he can get you there, get you 35, get you a little bit of a tournament upside as well. Couple guys we talked about Utah. Whenever the starters would be out, Utah would go to a couple of guys. When it starts with where is he at? Royce O'Neal, 3,600, getting a little bit extra minutes with Mike Conley being out right now. I think we can go to that well as a value play. I think he's a really good play there. Also, his teammate as well, Jeff Green, getting some extra run as well, 3,500. Both of these guys are bare minimum price tags. I think you could definitely take a flyer on one of these guys and feel pretty comfortable with it, against this Minnesota team. Then we'll move on to center, finish it off. Karl-Anthony Towns going against Utah. This is a tough spot for Towns going against Gobert, who is a good defensive player. The thing that I do like about Towns is he does step out and he shoots threes and does all that stuff. He's not going to be down there 100% just banging with Gobert. But it is a tough tough spot at 11.1. I don't know if I really want to pay the price tag for him, but he does have GPP upside. Gobert on the flip side, he's going to be guarding Towns. I think this is a spot, he can dominate. At 8,000, he can have a really good game, but at the same time, he could get in foul trouble. Either one of these big guys could get in foul trouble. That's why I hate targeting big guys going against each other, but they are definitely both in play, and I got to really consider them. Moving down, Clint Capella going against Cleveland, 8,800. I think Clint Capella can have a really good day here going against Cleveland. I think it's a pretty good spot for him. Capella, when he's healthy, he's been playing very well. This season, last season, he proved what he could do, got that big contract, and he's a guy that's going to be low owned. Nobody ever plays him. Definitely has some upside for tournaments. Moving down, a couple more guys. I think that there's a couple mid-tier guys, a couple value guys. First thing, we'll look at Brook Lopez. If he's going to be going against Jackson Hayes, who's been starting at center for New Orleans, this is a spot that Brook Lopez could dominate. At 5.2, we got him projected right at 5x, 5-time value on this price tag. I think that he is in a really good spot. Also, we talked, they have been starting Hayes, but they occasionally go with Okafor, meaning New Orleans. If Okafor is going to get some extra run because he has to guard the bigs, at 4,100, he's a good price tag. It's all about minutes with him. We got to hear about some news. Maybe they'll start him because Milwaukee's a little bit more of a bigger team down low. That's something that we do got to wait for. But if Okafor does get run, he's a guy that could produce quickly, fill up the stat sheet. Last but not least, I think we can also go back to the Boyembo well. Zeller is back, don't get me wrong, but Boyembo is still getting some run. 3,900, all you need is 19 for value. We got to project it at 16. He can easily get you 25 fantasy points, even if he's only playing 20 minutes. So I think he's a guy that we could possibly look at to pay down at center. So that's really where I'm at for this slate. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, good luck on guys' contest tonight, all right? Peace out.